Scoop Slam Podcast.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Scoop Slam Podcast. Once again, it's late night with the Scoop Slam Podcast. We do our best work late in the evening. We're going to be reviewing some WrestleDream. We're a little bit behind. We're trying to catch up. I'll get into that a little bit more later. So no trivia, no fun shenanigans this week. But as always, my partner in crime, it's Ryan.
Yo, Micah. Great to be back here with you with our way too late WrestleDream review.
Yeah, that one's on me.
Well, it's on both of us. I mean, just our schedule didn't line up, but we got to do it for the fans. We got to get this review out here.
That's right. The people have to know what we thought of the I don't know, widely acclaimed AEW pay-per-view. I don't know if it was acclaimed on this episode or this podcast.
A lot of big talking points coming out of this show, WrestleDream.
Specifically one I'm gonna let you hit on at the end, but let me go ahead and get this out of the way. So again, a couple episodes I said something about starting a new job. That has now came to be. And the shifts are kind of funky, and basically me and Ryan are on completely opposite shifts right now. In a couple weeks, it'll be fine. We'll be back to regular. We may switch the order around, but we'll let you know as that follows. Please bear with us. Please go follow us on our social media. I'm trying to keep them updated in terms of when we're going to be releasing a new episode. Because again, I legit have to be there at 6 a.m. Ryan doesn't get off until 8 at night. So you can see why this complicates things.
Maybe a little.
And so, yeah, we're going to do our best, but this next month might be a little rocky. After that, hopefully things will get back. So make sure to go follow us at Scoop Slam Pod, Twitter, Instagram, and we'll be updating stuff there so you'll know when to get your newest episode of the Scoop Slam Podcast. But now that we got all that ironed out, AEW had WrestleDream, not this past Sunday, but the last Sunday. This last Sunday was Fastlane. That episode will be out following this, and then we'll be caught up.
That was Saturday.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'm locked in forever in my mind thinking that pay-per-views are going to be Sunday.
Well, pay-per-views usually are Sunday, but this was a premium live event. Fastlane was. Come on now.
I guess I'm going to have to learn the terminology since one Mr. Phil is reportedly on the way.
Oh, we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah. You know how long form we get about Punk.
Yeah, I changed my opinion on Mr. Punk.
I bet you did, you piece of crap. But WrestleDream was in Seattle, Washington, and they opened up the show for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, MJF versus The Righteous, in a handicap match since Adam Cole has apparently really hurt himself in his ankle. He's got to have surgery. So, to start us off for our first WrestleDream review so we can get back on track, Ryan, what's your first scoop for the MJF versus The Righteous match?
MJF, not a lot of people can get a scoop slam over in 2023. MJF has no problem doing that. He cut that promo at the beginning of the match telling us what he was going to do in the match. About he was going to shove, what's the guy with the dreads? Is it Vincent? Or is Vincent the one with the dreads? Or is that Dutch?
Dutch is the bigger one.
Big dude. Okay. He said he was going to shove Vincent's head into Dutch's derriere, and he proceeded to do that in the match, and the fans lost their stuff when he actually, achieved his goal, which was a scoop in my opinion. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that kind of correlates to one of my scoops. MJF, to me, has kind of stolen Punk's gimmick of doing the old corny stuff and it being the most over thing. I mean, remember a couple months ago, even his first run a little bit, he started doing the scoop slams. And then this last run, he was doing the little Hogan ear thing, and just that was over in the 80s. And I say stupid, it was over, but you look at it now and you're like, oh my God, how did anybody get into this? But it works. It still works because the people eat it up, and it's the most over thing on the show, maybe aside from Danielson. So say what you want, and I'm certainly, a doer of that. But it's working. So I don't know. I can't critique it too much.
It's the simple stuff, man. The simple stuff is always going to be better than the twisting 450 burning hammer through the table. I mean, you can't beat the classics. Don't reinvent the wheel if the wheel's still spinning.
I agree with you. You got any other scoops for this one?
Initially, Micah, I was a little shocked with the outcome here. I didn't expect MJF to win. I mean, it was a 2-on-1 handicap match, and usually AEW don't beat tag teams that are established with single stars. So this was a surprise, but I really didn't hate it because I don't like the Righteous. I think they're way too much Bray Wyatt family-ish. So I had no problem with MJF looking strong and pinning Dutch and Vincent and getting them out of here. And hopefully we never see these guys on AEW television again. What you got, Micah?
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, honestly.
I was expecting pushback, man.
No, look, there's just too much similarity. Even their music sounds the same. I know people like them. People started kind of warming up to them.
Do they?
Well, they had some love on Twitter for a week or so there, but
that's just Twitter people. When you watch the show, they don't get a reaction. Bro, they beat the Hardys. How many people have beat the Hardys in AEW? The Bucks and the Righteous? Is that it? Really? Seems like
maybe one or two.
But the list is very short, and I don't see why you would give that to the Righteous. But man, I'm not a fan of them. I thought one of them was okay, the big dude, Dutch. But I don't know about the tattooed jabroni with the dreadlocks.
Yeah, Dutch makes me think of Big Bubba Rogers. And yeah, well, the Boss Man gimmick was different, but I'm talking about like specifically Big Bubba Rogers, like the character.
Yeah.
But Vincent, I don't know, man. Like, especially the dreads too. Like, that was Bray's thing, and I mean, we're not even 2 months away from Bray's passing. It just don't feel right to me, man. I can't look at them without thinking this is just a Wyatt family ripoff. Like, maybe initially, if you look at Darby Allin, you think, oh, well, he's just kind of like a Jeff Hardy. But he kind of has his own way about him.
I wouldn't. That's not a fair comparison, really.
So, I don't know. The only slam I had, which I kind of just said that I agreed with you, but at the same time, if they did just get beat by MJF, and Tony wants to keep pushing these guys, how are we supposed to take them serious from here? I know MJF is a world champ, but
it's still 2 against 1. Yeah, it's 2 against 1. They should have beat MJF. So if we were gonna take them serious, they should have beat MJF. And since they couldn't beat MJF like that, I just don't. I think it's over for them, actually.
And do you hear any complaints from the crowd?
Nah, they were cheering the kangaroo kick, and it was something.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on. Honest to God, I like to call this section the 0 hour section because it felt like all this stuff should have been on the 0 hour.
Yeah, Micah, you didn't pay these next matches much mind, did you?
We're gonna move quick here. I think you watch more of them, so I'll let you get into it. Eddie Kingston versus Shibata.
A lot of belts. A lot of belts in this pay-per-view.
I just knew what to expect with this. and I knew I wasn't gonna like it, so I saved my time. Had a hectic week, new job, orientation, all that jazz, and yeah, I saved myself a couple minutes.
All right, Mike, I wanted to say earlier, did you notice that everybody had a belt on this show? Did it feel like 80% of the roster had belts?
Yeah, and then like half the matches weren't even for the belt.
Yeah, that I don't know. How do you feel about that?
It seems to be a hot button issue. Personally, if they're gonna do Ring of Honor, I don't think that Ring of Honor should be involving the Bucks and MJF and all that. Like, to me, those people need to be. As a matter of fact, isn't that what Tony said a couple months ago, that it was going to kind of be its own thing?
Yeah, he said he was going to get. Well, he said that we were going to see less ROH influence on the AEW shows.
Yeah,
and that hasn't been the case since like right before the Wembley show. They started ramping up the ROH stuff.
I think we've seen more ROH than we used to see.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
So to me, like, that's the people, that's the Wheeler Yutas, the Nick Waynes, the people like that need to be in Ring of Honor, not MJF, Adam Cole. I just don't know. I don't like main roster guys being in Ring of Honor.
And who's paying for Ring of Honor? Who has Honor Club? Have you ever met anybody that pays for Ring of Honor, Micah? I've never met anybody.
Maybe back in the day.
I don't even know. No, not even back then. I never met anybody that said, "Oh man, I pay for Honor Club. It's a great deal." No, I've never met that. Do they have people that watch that?
Oh, if you believe everything you read on the internet, there's some fans out there.
Does it air regionally like it used to? Does it still do that?
No, I think it's a solely subscription basis.
My God. Well, if you pay for Ring of Honor, let us know at our Scoop Slam Twitter account.
Yeah, let us know how many people sign up for Honor Club, because I can tell you, me and you, I got $5 I can use somewhere else.
Yeah, I got to get a soda from the soda machine.
Quarter pounder looks good today. Taco Bell still got that classic bundle for $5.
Hey, brother, they sent me a $5 off coupon. I had to partake at the work.
Okay, you already know what it is. But yeah, did you watch Eddie versus Shibata?
Oh yeah, I just got one slam because I was kind of numb to this match. They kind of did the same stuff you would expect in the Eddie Kingston match. Eddie Kingston, I want to like the guy because I be singing his praises on the mic and in his backstage promos. But then he has matches like these, and I'm like, okay, I don't care how many great promos you cut, buddy. If you're gonna litter your matches with no selling chop fest, I don't want anything to do with you. And that's pretty much what this was, no sell chop fest. Because I remember Shibata no sold a T-bone suplex, Micah. He just popped back up and you start chopping again. They chop some more, and then Eddie got hit with some kicks that he no sold, and he told him to kick him some more. Why do they do that? I don't understand. Why? So they want the other person to hit them, and then they shake it off. Like, I don't understand this. Who is that? The fighting spirit, Micah? What is that?
I think they think it's cool from UFC. Whenever some of the guys get rocked in the UFC, they'll like wave them on, like bring it on. But legit, like if you listen to UFC, what I'm saying is, if you listen to like Joe Rogan or Daniel Cormier, that's what they say when they really get popped, is like, oh, bring it on. Because they're trying to not let their opponent think that they just got rocked. But it just doesn't seem... Just because they say bring it on doesn't mean that they don't keep their hands up to block. Or they just lay their chin out there for them to freaking blow their brains into the mat. That's just stupid. I can't stand that crap. It's a fight. Nobody's going to willingly let someone hit them in a fight.
Yeah. And my thing is, when you get dropped on your head from a a far distance. Shouldn't you be down for at least a couple of seconds instead of just popping right back up?
Well, it's all fake, Ryan. We'll just spit in the crowd's mouth. They'll like it.
Well, just dance at it. The
Uh,
crowd they love a good dance number like that.
Daniel Garcia wasn't on this show, of my knowledge. But
Prince Nana was, I mean.
I don't hate that one.
We'll get to that.
He's allowed to be goofy. He's a manager.
All right.
Following that, though, was Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart for the TBS Championship.
Eddie Kingston won, by the way. Eddie Kingston.
Oh, okay. I figured, but I honestly didn't stick around to see.
Okay.
Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart. I don't think that you watched this one.
Nah, Chief.
All right. I did because I knew you weren't going to.
All right, what happened?
Really have any scoops or slams?
you were just there while the match was on.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. It was okay, though. I mean, it just wasn't remarkable. Like, I don't know. I like Chris Statlander. I think Julia Hart has something interesting about her and her gimmick, and she has a look to me. She's got a nice moonsault, but other than that,
I'm not feeling it.
She's no Tiffany Stratton.
No, of course not. No, don't be ridiculous. But man, they gave her like a 30-match winning streak, and out of all the women on the roster, you give that to Julia Hart.
Yeah, I heard them say that on commentary, and I was like, "What?
Oh, God.
Who did she beat?"
I don't know, man. They don't even have Dark or Elevation anymore. Where does she have these matches?
I guess on Rampage. That's the only place I know that she could have been that I hadn't watched it.
I always forget Rampage is a thing. So yeah, she probably did have it there.
And the other hundreds of thousands of viewers do too. But yeah, Chris Statlander picked up the win. Nothing crazy.
Okay. I heard she's taking time off now.
Oh yeah.
What you do.
Her and Lee Johnson apparently are getting together and they're going on their honeymoon. So I hope they have a long marriage and a happy celebration and honeymoon.
Okay, all right. Tony Khan just gave everybody time off.
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying. Oh, you work 1 day a week.
They can't get married.
you work 1 day a week. You need a month off? Come on now.
Come on.
Brother, come on. You can't. Micah, if you work 1 day a week, would you dare ask for time off?
Maybe. If we were going out of town and I want to stay like a week or two, yeah, I might.
Man. Okay, whatever. Nobody cares about Julia Hart. She got carried off by the big dude, Brody, and that was that.
Well, I would tell you that was that for the next match, but I didn't stick around to watch it either. The Young Bucks versus the Guns versus Hook and Orange Cassidy versus the Lucha Bros.
We just blowing right. Yeah, we blowing right through these matches. What did you write?
0 hour. This all could have been on 0 hour.
What did you write?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay, all right. Speaking of 0 hour, didn't they have Nick Wayne and versus Luchasaurus on 0 hour?
I can get back to you on that, but I think you're right.
Okay, so well, you know what? We'll talk about that later. Bucks versus the Guns versus Hook versus the Lucha Brothers, right? That's what happened?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't watch it, so I'll just get to my 2 scoops. Because it was what you expect. It felt kind of like a Dynamite match. Nothing. Well, it was a lot of crazy stuff, but nothing overly crazy. Nobody died in this match, Michael. What I'm trying to say.
Darn.
The Guns. No, come on.
Nah, I'm just playing.
Oh, the Lucha Brothers in there. There's always a chance. The Guns pulled off the old New Age Outlaws pin attempt. You ever see that where the New Age Outlaws pin themselves and they won a triple threat tag team match on Raw?
Yes. Didn't the New Day try to do that too a couple years ago?
They did. Yeah, they did. New Age Outlaws the only one that actually achieved it, but the Guns did try it, and I thought that was pretty funny. And oh, Phoenix was gone for the whole match. Micah, I know this means nothing to you. You didn't watch it, but
I was too.
Phoenix Phoenix got carried off at the beginning of the match, and he never came back. Why did they even have the Lucha Brothers in this match? If I don't, was Phoenix hurt beforehand, or was it storyline? He got he got beat up, and then the referees jumped in. They carried him to the back, and then I expected him to come out like towards the end of the match, but no, he never came back. And Penta just kind of wrestled the whole match without a partner. So why even have them in the match if they weren't gonna actually have their whole tag team? I don't know. That didn't make. I guess that'd be a slam. I don't know why I put that in the scoop section, but yeah, that happened. And who picked up the win here, Micah?
Oh, you know, the Cucamonga
Oh,
Kids.
oh my God, the Bucks did win. The Bucks win this, which makes them the number one contender to the tag championships that are held by Big Bill and Ricky Starks now. And also, was it Matt Jackson? Does he have he has an international title shot coming up?
I think so, and they're already trios champions with Hangman.
Oh yeah, they did have belts in this match. Okay. All right. But yeah,
So
the
yeah.
Bucks took that loss at Wembley and they decided, you know what, brother? We ain't doing no more jobs.
Yeah, they're being dutifully compensated. That makes me wonder too, which I'm sure we're gonna get to it. Maybe not, depending on the schedule. FTR, by the time this comes out, I'm sure you've watched Collision. FTR lost the belts to the Bucks. Or they lost
What?
No.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on, I'm getting there.
What show did they run?
Sorry, I went to a different timeline. So FTR lost the belts to Big Bill and Starks.
On Collision, of all places.
Yeah, for a preempted collision.
Yeah.
Apparently, Cash, it's one of two things. It's this court case, or he suffered an injury with the Aussie Open match. But apparently also did Mark Davis.
Jesus. All injury wrestling, huh? Everybody's hurt. Why does everybody get hurt? Every show you're such and such suffered an injury in this match.
You think it's because they only work one day a week, whereas WWE runs multiple shows a week?
And they do crazy, dumb stuff like dropping people on their heads after they possibly had concussions. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but FTR don't really do that.
Yeah, not FTR in particular, but like I'm saying though, there's plenty of injuries other than FTR on the roster.
You got a point. Look, I'm about November time. My residence is in Stanford, so I'm hanging on. I'll give you as much pushback as I can right now, but
the FTR legal stuff, is something bad about to happen? I thought everything was kind of swept under the rug and Cash was just gonna have to pay like a little fine. Is there something else happened? Did they discover some new evidence, Michael? Was there a second gun involved? What do you know?
An Austin gun, perhaps. No, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, but why would they not just go all the way through and drop the belts to the Bucks?
Well, did you want to see that?
No, but I think that would make more sense than a random preempted collision losing it to Starks and Big Bill. I mean, I'm happy for Starks and Big Bill. You know, it's the first title that Big Bill's ever held.
Ever?
Yes. Like, he never held one in NXT or WWE, TNA, or AEW until now.
He went to TNA?
Yeah, he was an Impact. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
He was W. Morrissey.
I thought he came in as W. Okay, regardless, that's very surprising. He never won any titles. I remember him and Enzo were really over at NXT, and they never got a run on the main roster because they kind of broke them up before they accomplished anything.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I don't know. It just felt weird. But what do you think? Do you think he's hurt, or do you think it's legal?
Maybe we should look at it from a different perspective. The Observer just recently released. They just put out that there's AEW wrestlers looking for greener pastures now that they got Jade and they're bringing her in with all the pomp and circumstances. Maybe old Ricky Stark's contract is coming up and Tony Khan is floating him a little title run just to, maybe say, hey, we're gonna feature you and we're gonna put titles on you. Just re-sign that contract. You ever think about it like that?
You bring up a good point. I honestly hadn't thought about that. Interesting.
It could be the case. I've been hearing that there's more people on the way that WWE wants to bring in. People been saying Starks is good as gone, and Wardlow, you can kiss him goodbye too. I think they just brought him back to TV, didn't they?
Yeah, they brought him back Wednesday, but I didn't really see it
with a squash, and I guess it's something for him to do, but I think the ship sailed on Wardlow. Hey, you remember Scorpio Sky? Remember they brought him back to TV?
Yeah, he exists.
He had like one match, and has he been on Collision after that?
I want to say he got hurt in his return match, but that might just be something in my mind.
Stop it! Come on now.
No, I'm serious. I want to say that he did.
All injury wrestling. Okay.
Right,
what match are we talking about? Oh yeah, FTR dropping the titles to Starks and Big Bill. I thought it was surprising, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe the Bucks just wanted some heels to beat.
Could be. Apparently he's on Ring of Honor now. So see you later, Scorpio Sky.
Yep. He does the Lakers podcast. I enjoy it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
I was gonna say don't let the door hit you on the way out, but you can stay.
Yeah.
Moving on though, the show actually started here to me, and then it kind of went back to 0 hour, and then it started again.
Jeez, Mike.
Again, it's ridiculous. 4 hours. They could have cut this down.
Yeah.
I personally like the longer pay-per-views, but like the 4 matches we just listed had no business being on the main show other than MJF.
And 0 hour was that a whole hour or like 2 hours?
I think hour and a half. They had 4 matches.
Brother, can you imagine being in that building for 6+ hours and then trying to get out of the building? Probably going to be stuck in the parking lot traffic for another hour. Jeez Louise, those poor fans.
I mean, we went to Revolution and Double or Nothing.
I was done after that Punk MJF match. I was burned out.
You were cooked.
Yeah, I wanted to go home, man.
I remember being so sleepy during the Adam Page match, and I did not care.
I can't believe that main event. Looking back, I can't believe that main event.
Of all things. Well, speaking of Adam Page, him versus Swerve Strickland was next. So this I actually enjoyed. So I've got some scoops for this. You got some slams as well, and I do too. I'll go ahead with my first scoop here. A really nice front face buster into a brain buster by Swerve. I don't know if that's what you would call it, but he basically jumped up and grabbed Hangman's, like, I guess, face from... He kind of reached around. It's hard to describe, man. But he just pulled him down to the mat and then picked him back up into a brainbuster. It was cool. If you watch the match, you know what I'm talking about. Hopefully.
Okay. All right.
Clear as mud.
Sure.
Did you have anything in terms of scoops?
I just got one scoop. Dang, we don't have a lot of scoops for this pay-per-view, do we?
It gets a little later.
Okay. All right. Hyper extended arm spot that Swerve did on, I believe it was Page. I think Swerve did on Page. But he did that kind of if you watch Lucha Underground, you know what I'm talking about. Penta used to do it after his matches when he snapped the people's arms. He would kind of like tie one guy's arm behind his leg, and then he would grab the other guy's arm and kind of jolt backwards and kind of hyperextend. You know what I'm talking about, Micah?
Yeah. I've seen clips. Go look it
I
up,
don't know
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I don't know what you call that, but it looked nice. It looked devastating, and Page sold it like $1 million. Well, he sold it for about all 30 seconds, and then he stopped selling it like $1 million. But that's the only scoop I got for this match. I wasn't a big fan of this. I know you're high on Swerve. We both do not like Adam Page, but he just feels mid card to me, man. I don't know.
Come on now.
I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. And his physique is a little. What happened to him? He let himself go.
Top
He used to
rope.
be in good shape. He used to be in good shape, man. What happened?
Catch a
Gave up.
vibe.
I'm not swerving when I'm driving. Why does he
Come
swerve when he
on.
drives? Isn't that unsafe? You're not supposed to swerve when you drive.
Well, you know, when you're under the influence. Well.
Okay. All right.
One thing
So you've
leads
been
to
hanging around
another.
Jeff Hardy.
Oh God.
Was Jeff on his podcast? I know he has a podcast.
If he has been, I don't know. Nah, speaking of being under the influence.
Okay. All right. Come on now.
No, what
we'll talk
about
about that another
playing press conference?
We'll talk about that.
Look, you would have eaten Tony Khan alive if it was one of his talents up there. They were not coherent.
Well, hopefully he called an Uber afterwards. Or he probably just rode on Cody's bus with him.
Oh, the American Nightmare. Anyways, I had two other scoops. I like Swerve. I think he's main event.
Why'd he stop going to the gym?
He's still going to the gym. He's bulking. He literally said it on his podcast.
He's Keith Leeing. That's what he's doing.
Low blow. Low blow.
Am I lying?
Well, you know, if you're flying, and I don't think your feet have left the ground.
We call it spade a spade here on the Scoop Slam podcast.
You got that right. We'll put that on a t-shirt, ladies and gentlemen. Nice deadeye from Page to Swerve while he was standing on the steps. It looks rough. Now, obviously, there was a stair spot later that was 10 times worse. But both guys were getting some good reactions, and the Swerve stomp on the apron looked pretty rough, too. I know I wouldn't want to be on the other end of that.
Swerve, this was his hometown, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the mics were off. You really couldn't tell it was hometown. And was he really getting that big of a reaction?
I felt like he got a pretty solid reaction.
What was wrong with the mics? It didn't seem loud in there.
I don't know. I thought
building.
I thought it was loud, but then again, I listened to it in my car, so it might sound a little louder.
It's half empty, Mike.
Oh, come on. You know when Edge looked. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I do like Edge, but those memes crack me up. But as for slams, I'm gonna hit you with another double stack.
Okay. All right.
They had a promo package that we didn't really get to talk about, but Paige was talking about this dark cloud over me for the last year and a half. My God, dude. Get your panties out of your crotch. Get over it.
What does he mean by that? Is he referring to Punk?
I think so.
Was Punk really in his head like that?
I guess. If you're going to fire the dude because you're scared of him, because he threatened my life, and he's just leaving such a negative energy in the backstage area, then quit talking about him, and everybody will just forget about it, because he's gonna go to freaking WWE, and he's gonna make them more money, so just leave it at that. And I'm going with him.
Oh, Micah, are you jumping ships here?
I might
live
be
on a Scoop Slam podcast. You jumping ships, huh?
You know, we'll see. What is it, November 25th, Chicago, Illinois?
Yeah, the whole Dark Cloud thing, I don't understand. If he was talking about Punk, that's kind of, I don't know, man. Like, bro was living rent free in your head. Come on now. It's time to get over that. You just, if you really think about it, he didn't really get any on screen time that whole year. After that Moxley match, he really did nothing.
Anybody miss it?
I forgot he was there.
Good.
No. I remember he was there when CM Punk called him a peg woman.
Oh yeah. And I bet you tomorrow you don't work tomorrow. I bet you the next day you clock in, you can go in Walmart and see that freaking peg. And it's got a Hangman Adam Page figure on it.
Oh, bro, the shelves are full of Adam Page figures.
So tell him when he's telling lies.
Wow.
The other slam I had was another biting spot. And I had this for another show that I don't think we ever got to do again because of scheduling issues. But like, oh my God, they do it in every match. It's like the chop spot at this point. It's cool once. It's not cool the 80th time I've seen it in the past 2 months.
You telling me you didn't like when Tony Storm bit Kiera Hogan's derriere, Micah? You telling me you didn't like that?
I did. I can't say that I did.
They do it in a lot of matches, man.
They do. When you think about it, like Moxley does it every time. MJF starts doing it. Now you got freaking Swerve doing it. Now you got Tony Storm doing it. Now you got Danielson doing it. Now you got Starks doing it. It's every single match, dude. Like, it's same freaking philosophy that we talked about with MJF. He does the stuff that nobody does anymore, and that's why it's over. How can we miss you if you won't go away? Case in point.
Everybody's doing it like the super kick.
That's all I had in terms of specifics.
Towards the end of the match, do you remember how the match ended? Because it's been a while since this pay-per-view was on, but I think it had to do with a crown. Prince Nana's crown.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, wait, hold up. No, let me talk about Prince Nana real quick. I'm not a fan of the dancing. When the guy is trying to be a main event threat, and then you got the manager beside him, you know, shucking and jiving. I don't like that. That just, it seems like we should laugh at what the Swerve presentation instead of taking it serious. What do you think?
I see your point because I thought the same thing. I like Swerve, and personally, I buy him as a main event guy. However, when he comes down the entrance ramp, and I equate it to Batista with Flair. I know that's a whole different thing. No, but
I just imagine Flair doing that dance.
That's what I'm saying, though. But like, you took Flair serious, and Batista looked like, oh shoot, he's prepping for the main event. But like, you got Swerve, who's got his game face on, and he's got the coat, and he's got the look. To me, even if you don't see it, he's got the look. And then his manager's dancing beside him. And personally, I do find it funny, and that's rare in wrestling to me. But I just can't get the guy as a main event guy when he's got that dude dance.
Yeah, it's funny, but you can't take it serious. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, it's got a shelf life.
Yeah, the audience loves it because they can laugh at it. You know, that's all it takes nowadays, Mike. You got to laugh at something. That's how it gets over.
Or have your team go, oh.
It's all of that too, but not a big fan of what Prince Nana's been doing. It's amazing. He hasn't cut many promos. If it may be under 3 promos he's cut on AEW television. But what gets him the biggest reaction is him shucking and jiving out there beside Swerve. I'm not a fan of that.
Well, you were talking about the ending though.
The crown spot with Prince Nana. He tossed Swerve the crown, and he got kicked out of ringside. Nana did, and while the referee was tending to Nana for a very long time, I might add, Swerve hit Page with the crown, and you would think that would be it, Micah, from your how long you been watching wrestling, Micah?
No, well,
Eight,
let's see, 15 years now.
15 years. Okay. So usually when you get hit with a foreign object, that's probably the finish, right?
Should
Not
be.
in AEW. Not in AEW, brother. We kick out at 2. And we don't only just kick out at 2. We pick them up and we do a whole different move that you didn't need, and that's what's gonna be. I didn't think that was needed, and it gets a big slam in my book. I don't understand why they did that. Is it to make Adam Page look strong?
I guess that's the only thing I could think. I honestly had that wrote down as well because, like, my overall thoughts about the match were that it was great to me. Probably my favorite Swerve match to this point. The best Page has looked in a while in my mind. It should have ended 5 to 7 minutes earlier. They had the people up when Swerve did. He did some kind of move and then he did like a jumping kick to his head. And the people were already popping. And they were going crazy on the count. And then Paige kicked out and they went way longer for no reason. And then the people were just blown up already. And this, you talking about the crown is case in point. It's just overdoing it.
Yeah, no reason for that. And you said that it was like 3 or 5 minutes too long. It really was. If they would have shaved that off, it probably would have been a really good match, and I would have looked at it a little differently. And cut out the crown spot, I would have looked at it a lot differently. But they did way too much, and it was there for me. I wasn't, I still don't take Swerve serious as a main event guy, and Paige is still on my almost unwatchable list in AEW. But did you enjoy the match?
I liked it for what it was. I mean, I expect Page matches to not be my favorite thing in the world, but again, I do like Swerve. But if they could have, dead honest, if they could have just shaved 5 to 7 minutes, if you didn't watch it, go watch it and you'll see the point I'm talking about. And it kind of lost the people after that. They were ready for it they were ready to throw the babies in the air. And then it was like, and then they just never came back.
Saying they blew their load a little early, huh?
Yeah,
Or was it way too late? They blew it late or they blew it early?
Nah, they blew it early. And then they just, they kept, there's some terminology I can use, but I don't think I want to for the PG show. But yeah.
Well, the next match here, it was Wheeler Yuta versus Ricky Starks.
Yep.
Did you watch this, Micah? You watched this?
I did. I don't think you did.
No, I was out. We tagging in and out, huh?
Yeah. I knew you were gonna watch a Yuta match. And see, you pinned the Starks hate on me.
I like Starks, but I can't. There's things that I wouldn't even watch, and Wheeler Yuta's one of them. I did see a stat today that I could not believe, but I couldn't believe it because I really don't watch Wheeler Yuta. So maybe it is true. But did you know, Micah, that Wheeler Yuta has never won a one-on-one match on AEW television?
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, really. He do you want me to call him out for you?
Go ahead.
Okay. His first match was on Dynamite in July of 2021. Lost to Sammy Guevara. Then he lost to Darby Allin. Then he lost to John Moxley. Then he lost to Wardlow. Lost to Adam Cole. Lost to John Moxley again. Lost to Pac. Lost to Bryan Danielson. John Moxley again. Chris Jericho. Daniel Garcia. He lost to MJF. Lost to Swerve Strickland. Hangman Page. He lost to Orange Cassidy. He lost to Kenny Omega. He lost to Orange Cassidy. Jeez, he lost to Orange Cassidy a lot. Lost to Eddie Kingston, and then he lost to Ricky Starks at WrestleDream. So,
oh my God! No, I honestly did not know that.
Yeah, he's lost every single one-on-one match.
Well, he lost this one. I got a scoop and a slam for it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Ricky won with a heel tactic, so I'm cool with it. It just sucks he never gets a clean win. And then anytime he goes to face a bigger star, he loses.
Well, he's a heel, so heels do cheat. Wasn't this the first match with Moxley on commentary?
Yep, that was my slam.
All right, I'll let you get. I'll let you get it. I'll let you get to your slam. Go ahead.
Well, you got a little bit more rope for it. I don't know. You got it in the scoop section though. I did not like Moxley on commentary. He could not stop swearing, and he just didn't click with me.
I
People
thought it was
online were like, "Oh my god, Moxley on commentary is great. He should be on there all the time." And I was just like, "Man,
they were comparing to Joe Rogan. Micah, did you see that?
no, I'm glad I didn't."
Yeah, if you say it reminded them of Joe Rogan's commentary in the UFC.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I don't know how they got that correlation, but I thought it was pretty funny, Moxley.
Yeah, I see you got some more rope for the next match in terms of his commentary, but I don't
Yeah,
know, man. It just I like Nigel because Nigel can be funny and Nigel is also serious. Punk
he's very
could
witty.
be
He's very
funny.
witty too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good announcer trait to have. Punk, witty, still serious. But
Yeah.
Moxley, I don't know, but people just think he's so cool and he's got his funny jokes. And I saw somebody the other day on Twitter. I love how he cuts thumb holes in all of his jackets. My
What?
God.
Did you do that? Really?
I guess.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, I used to do that in 4th grade.
What was that for?
'Cause it looks cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's supposed to keep your hands warm, but you're gonna look cool.
Oh man. So who won? Ricky Stars won. Yeah.
Yeah, thank God. But don't ask Danielson to do a job for him now. Screw you, brother. That don't work for me.
Oh, Punk too. That's not just.
Punk put him
Not just.
over.
Oh, for real? Did he? I forgot.
Yes, he won the Owen Hart thing
No.
on Punk.
Yeah, but that was due to interference, Mike. Punk did beat him when Ricky the Dragon Steamboat Love was on the line. You don't remember that?
Love.
We were there for that. We were there for that.
I know, but Stark still beat Punk for the Owen Hart tournament.
But then Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was in peril, and CM Punk saved him and beat Ricky Starks. You don't remember that?
Yeah, and then Ricky beat him like a dog after the match.
Well, it's not like he didn't deserve that
Oh, come
beat
on.
down. Well, he did.
Everybody in the crowd was like, boo! And Ryan's over there.
Well, no, we had the Big Bill Appreciation Club right below us that they were cheering on Ricky Starks as well.
That's true. Yeah, they plug the pod to him. They would have loved that.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, let's get to when that
I didn't.
pay-per-view really started.
Yeah, I didn't love the Willer you to Ricky Starks.
Yeah, more 0 hour. But this was main card business right here.
Oh, okay.
Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. for the title of greatest technical wrestler in the world. Not officially, but you know that's what this was. Scoops. I'll let you start us off because I know you love you some Bryan Danielson. So
I do. They were supposed to have this match was it last year?
yeah, Forbidden Door.
And Brian got hurt. So this was a makeup for all that. I really enjoyed this match. It felt like a struggle at times. Guys weren't like just standing around waiting to get hit. These guys were jockeying for positions and locking submission holds in. They counter submission holds with more submission holds. I particularly enjoyed that a lot in this match, and that was one of my scoops. The constant struggle for better positioning. That was one of my scoops, Mike. What you got?
Yeah. Well, I just want to say I do agree with you. At times it felt like a legit jiu-jitsu match or like a UFC, wrestling match like that.
Death Jitsu.
Oh, see, you always got to pop me with stupid crap like that. I thought Nigel was great. Got to wear the Seahawks gear to get over. We were talking about a couple weeks ago in Collision. He said something about in the strap match that Danielson had an advantage because he's been whipped for 9 years now. Nigel is my favorite commentator on TV right now. He is so great. Put him on the main show. Get Excalibur out of here. Because even when he says stuff like that, he doesn't laugh and get all the boys to laugh, and then they have to cut their mics because they're laughing about it. It's still serious, but his hatred for Bryan Danielson is great.
He reminds me of little Jerry Lawler there with his wittiness and his heel commentating is really good.
Yeah, just
and did you realize JR was on commentary? I forgot he was on commentary.
Yeah, it was a stacked booth for this because you had Nigel, Excalibur, JR, and Moxley.
I think JR was laughing at Moxley most of the whole match.
Yeah, well, Moxley kept stepping on like everybody's toes the whole time. Like when somebody else would be talking, he would just start saying something.
It wasn't just that; he would kind of drone on and on, like incoherently.
Yeah, exactly. Which is one of your scoops, but I didn't care for it.
It was like a big move would happen, and Moxley is still mid-sentence from something that happened 3 moves ago.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty funny, but I can see why you didn't like it. But he had some lines here that kind of cracked me up. I believe when Bryan and Zack Sabre were in kind of a jockeying for position, like I was talking about earlier, he was saying, "Oh yeah, right here, this is a swinging Johnson contest right here, brother." Micah, the absurdity of that line was just, I don't see how you didn't find that entertaining. And then he follows that up with another one-liner. They were talking about how Bryan is a weird dude in the locker room. And he responds with, "Yeah, Bryan reads about a lot of tantric sex in his free time." Like, what? Excuse me, sir? What do you mean by that?
What does that even mean? What does tantric mean?
I don't know, but he reads about it. And when Zack Sabre Jr. was locked in Bryan Danielson and Uma Plata or something like that, some weird name that it has for like an arm bar. Moxley grabs his headset and kind of covers up the mic and just stands up and yells, "Come on, Bryan, F that guy." Like I
didn't hear him.
And it just cracked me up, man. After Bryan got out, he just put his headset back on like nothing just happened. And then after the match, Micah, I know I'm skipping all the way around, but they showed they showed Demetrius Johnson at ringside. And everybody knows Demetrius Johnson is the best, flyweight, Micah? Is
yes,
that what
sir.
he is? He's the greatest flyweight of all time. Well, apparently he's having a match with Kenny Omega, and nobody informed Jon Moxley of this. So when Excalibur was talking about this match with Kenny Omega that Demetrius Johnson's going to have, Moxley responded with a what? And then Excalibur had to explain to him, "Oh, it's in video games." Come on, man. You tell me you were entertained by the Moxley shenanigans.
I mean, some of it was funny, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe my just overall disliking for Moxley as a whole made me not like this. That was my only slam for this match, was that.
Ambrose is my favorite member of the Shield, and I'm never going to completely give up on Moxley. And I thought his commentary was pretty decent, pretty good, pretty funny at times.
Well, the only other scoop that I had, other than the one we share, but I'll let you run that one down. the dragon screw that Danielson did to Zack Sabre Jr., where he didn't really get a chance to plant his foot and he kind of rolled his ankle. Ouch. Yeah. That looked gross, but I liked it because it did look like it hurt. And typically dragon screws are a little bit of a goofy move sometimes, but I don't know. I liked it. It looked bad and that added to the match.
Now that you mention it, yeah, it is kind of a goofy move.
It just...
I thought Zack said... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, it just... I don't know. In like slow motion, it's like a... You really going to let that guy do that to you?
Well, when you really think about it, the Irish whip is kind of hokey too.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Kind of let him throw. You can let him, especially when they grab the guy's head and they kind of just throw him like that instead of grabbing the guy's arm and whipping him across the ring. That's a little more. That's way more hokey than the regular Irish whip. But I thought Zack Sabre Jr. in this match, he looked really good. Because the last time I seen Zack Sabre Jr. was 2016 in the Cruiserweight Classic in WWE, and he was thin, Micah. He was thin. He was skinnier than Darby Allin during that run in 2016. Yeah, he's about 6'feet, 6'1", and I swear if he was 175 pounds, he definitely drank a lot of water the night before because my man was thin as heck during 2016 run in the Cruiserweight Classic. And he kind of did bulk up a little bit. I commend him for that. And he was as good as ever, good as I remember. And Bryan was on top of his game as well. And they had it lived up to the dream match moniker.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Definitely did.
I agree. To me, it was the match of the night. Danielson is still the best technical wrestler of all time. And he put on a clinic pretty much fresh off surgery, aside from a couple matches with Ricky. But yeah, I'm really, really good. I enjoyed it. Moving on to something Oh, yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
I like the FTR Aussie Open match too. And Christian and Darby was good, but they're all a little different. Like, I like them all for different things. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Something that I didn't like was the match that followed. We're just going to have to run through these slams because, my God, we got a paragraph.
Oh, man.
Kota Ibushi, Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega versus the Don Callis family. We both got a scoop, so we'll start there. The only one that wasn't actually for the match itself, more for the commentary. I want to say that Nigel said this too, but he said, well, the ref's being real liberal with the rules here.
He did say that, I remember.
Aren't they always?
Yeah.
I mean...
Wasn't Aubrey Edwards the referee here?
Yeah, because Jericho was in it.
Yeah. Yep.
You know how the tag matches are. Ooh. Excuse me. You know how the tag matches are, man. They stay in the ring as long as they want. They do combination moves. It just... I don't know.
Apparently Sammy was hurt. He got a concussion during the match or something like that. Well, did you notice that he was a little off during the match?
I noticed that he just doesn't look good to me.
Dang. Ever?
No, he just stinks, man. I don't know.
Jeez. Yeah, a lot of people are souring on him in the AEW Twitter sphere too, man. I see a lot of people dogging Sammy Guevara. And that's 2 out of the 4 pillars that I really don't care for. So, yeah, man, maybe it's time to get some new pillars in here.
Well, they skipped over Starks. He could have been a pillar, but no. Jungle Boy.
It'd be a pillar in NXT.
The slams. I got 3. You got 3. I'll go ahead and just run through mine real quick. Honest to God, I did not know who the legal man was for about half the match.
Everybody was legal.
Or illegal, depending on who you ask. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. And if you think I'm kidding, I don't know how you could keep track of it. They were just in and out, doing all sorts of moves. You know, I didn't even know Will Ospreay was in this match until I actually saw him come out.
Hey, Micah, you skip all the Don Callis segments over the last couple weeks.
I guess, but like,
Okay.
Wouldn't you think they'd make a bigger deal out of it? Like, he's kind of been a big star for them, especially in Wembley, but I, I don't know. It was spots all over to the inside, the outside. They were missing spots constantly because they weren't close enough or they didn't catch them at all.
Yeah.
Just awful, awful, awful strikes from Sammy. He was doing that stupid open elbow bull crap they do, and they just looked horrible. He was doing it to Kota Ibushi. They didn't even look like they hurt. You look like you could have given that to a 5-year-old and he wouldn't have moved. And then Ibushi just one punch.
He looked bad. Yeah, he looked bad.
Has he looked good at all since he came in?
I've sung the praises of Zack Sabre Jr. in that last match, saying that I haven't seen him since the Cruiserweight Classic. I didn't see Ibushi since the Cruiserweight Classic, and I've seen him the last couple times in AEW. He has sucked. It's been the complete opposite of Zack Sabre Jr. Awful. Terrible.
And
he looks
I don't
out of
think
shape,
he's old.
What happened to him? No.
He looks
I don't
like
know
what?
what's going on with him. He looks out of shape. What happened to him?
Oh. I don't know. He looks like him and Swerve kind of have that same physique where it's like they're not cut, they're just bulked.
Yeah, but Ibushi used to be built like a Greek god, and now looks like a slob.
I don't know. I mean, he's 41, so he's getting a little older, but daggum. I just have not been impressed, and people have longed for him to be there.
And when you line them up side by side, Takeshita and him, it looks like night and day, you know?
Yeah, I'd rather have Takeshita any day.
He looks like $1 million too.
Yeah, he's way well.
Go ahead.
No, you said pause and it threw me off. He's more stout and his offense is more explosive. That also does not go well with what I said a minute ago.
All right. Interesting choice of words there, Mike. But okay.
Well, you know, honestly, I could pick this match apart. It was what I expected. I knew I wasn't going to like it. It's a nothing 6-man match that nobody's going to remember 2 months from now. And also, I don't like the fact that Don Callis' little intro video is the Last Supper and he put himself in Jesus' position. Because to me, that's just kind of offensive and doesn't really have a place. Like, why do you have to do that?
Yeah, he's been going a little overboard with these paintings lately. I thought the botch cutter by Sammy was it was really bad, and Omega still had to sell it, even though Sammy was nowhere near him.
Yeah.
Or his neck area. But like I said earlier, Sammy supposedly got a concussion, which is, part of the course with all injury wrestling. 50-year-old Chris Jericho hulking up is something I didn't need to see. Do you remember that when Chris Jericho got hit by, I don't even remember, was it Will Ospreay that hit him with something, and then he just immediately popped back up, no sold it, and then just hit a move?
Yeah, because didn't he kick out at like 1?
Of course, brother. I mean, that's what you do in AEW. You kick out at 1, you no-sell stuff, you hulk up like your Ultimate Warrior in 1990. Everybody knows that, Micah. What, you stupid? That's the fighting spirit right there, Micah.
And then when he was hulking up, his body just looked so bad. Like, I know he's not like on anything. I know Hogan was on the juice. Man, Hogan looked better at 50.
Oh, heck yeah. Hogan, Well, Jericho, what did Ricky Starks say? He looked like an air fryer. I mean, he's got a point.
Well, hey, maybe Ricky could be on the pod. He seems like a guy who calls a spade a spade.
No, I wouldn't hate it. We have ties to Ricky Starks.
Yeah, we did meet him.
Go way back. Yeah, we go way back, Ricky.
Yeah. You got any more slams? Obviously, you can tell we were not fans of this.
Yeah, it's just, I don't even know if this is a slam. This is my overall thoughts on the match. I just wrote down a lot of the usual AEW tropes. Guys get hit with big moves, they pop back up. It dazes them for a second. Then the crowd goes, oh, and you shake it off and you hit an equally looking devastating move. You do that for the next 5 minutes, rinse and repeat. No 5 count enforcement, no disqualification enforcement. And it was just a typical AEW trios match. And it was, what'd you say that nobody's gonna remember in 2 months? That might be a little generous, Micah, because I had to look at my notes to remember that this match actually happened.
Yeah, should have said 2 days. Yeah. Not much more to be said. It does kill me how they always start their matches off with like rope breaks and the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it devolves into just absolute madness.
It's a tornado tag, but
why don't they just make it that then? If that's what they want to do, just make it a tornado tag. I don't see the issue with that.
I never understood that because they always devolve into a tornado tag anyway.
Yeah, so why not just start there? And then I wouldn't be that offended. I'd be like, oh, yep, that makes sense. But no, because then you see the next match, which is FTR versus Aussie Open, and it's like they weren't following the rules 5 minutes ago, and now they're like really heavily involved in the rules. Who knows? People love indie show on a large scale, and that's what the Bucks and Omega are. And Omega could be a legit star. Honestly, I truly believe that. Omega could be something in the US. The Bucks are fitted for the indies because they cannot tell a story on week-to-week television aside from the one story that they told that everybody's just riding their Johnson about 4 years later. That was
they're about to be triple champs now, Micah.
Oh God. It happened 2 years ago. It's over. What have they done since? They are ice cold because they can't tell a story. So, I'm sorry.
I'd argue Omega's in that same boat. I think the ship sailed on him being a star. He does majority tag matches now.
I mean, you got a point. It kind of feels like I saw Ibu from Wrestle Purist, which I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of his. He posted something that kind of just feels like Omega is twisting in the wind, or he's just kind of there. It's like everything's on autopilot. He has a good match, but he kind of took a back seat to his own feud with the Don Callis family. You know what I mean? Doesn't Jericho kind of feel like the main character of this whole thing?
Yeah. And you know who I would equate him to in WWE? Drew McIntyre. A guy that had everything a couple years ago, but since he lost his world title, kind of been twisting in the wind. And that's kind of what Omega's been doing after he lost the world title.
That's a good point, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it feels like Drew kind of took some time off too after the Intercontinental thing, and really after the Roman feud, he kind of it just felt like he took some time off, and then he came back, and now it's like,
yeah. They might do something with him now, but he was in a storyline with Riddle, but that obviously had to get dropped.
Yeah, and that's not his fault.
No, it's not his fault. It's not his fault, but it's not Omega's fault either. He just has the wrong friends, in my opinion.
And the wrong booker.
Yeah, the wrong booker.
Well, FTR versus Aussie Open for the AEW World Tag Team titles followed this. I honestly don't have a lot wrote for this. And sometimes that's just how stuff happens. Just because I don't have a lot of stuff wrote for it doesn't mean I didn't like it, but I really only have 2 scoops. Now, I gotta ask, you don't have anything wrote on paper, or at least the shared paper that we have?
Yeah, I did watch it, though, but I was just kind of numb to it. After the match I saw, and then we were like 4 hours in at this point, Micah. I watched the match. I seen old buddy get hurt. Of course, that's what you do in all injury wrestling. You get hurt. I mean, injury they had on this show, man.
Sammy was hurt. Penta, you said, went to the back for majority of the match. Phoenix. Now we got FTR, one of them, and Mark Davis.
Yep.
Darby, I'm sure, was hurt.
Yeah.
So, 4 or 5.
Nick Wayne's mom, feelings were hurt.
But that was justified. She should have gave Christian that sweet loving.
Oh, okay, all right. She needs to post more bikini pics, huh?
Well, you said it, but Christian ain't disagreeing. 2 scoops, just real quick. Nice hot tag set up for Dax. Obviously, great tag fundamentals from both teams. Mark Davis coming off the top rope is nuts. Those dudes are big. Like, when they faced off with FTR on Collision, I didn't realize how big Aussie Open is, but even Kyle Fletcher's like a shoot, like 6'3".
Oh, yeah, he big. He a tall guy. He's skinny. The other one is more thick. I think what's Fletcher, Mark Fletcher.
No, you got them mixed up. Mark Davis is the thick guy. Kyle Fletcher is the skinny guy.
They have such basic names, but okay. Those guys, they are a big tag team, and FTRs are they're short dudes, man.
Yeah,
they're like 5'9". They are Garganos.
Oh no, come on now. They're a little bigger than Gargano.
I'm serious though. They're the same height as Gargano. They're just thick,
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they don't love wrestling as much. Nah, I'm just kidding. I love Dax, but overall,
he loves his family too.
Yeah, he loves the business, and he loves Scoop Slam podcast. I heard.
Oh yeah, everybody loves Scoop Slam.
Well, we can't steal the Acclaim's gimmick.
Well, they stole John Cena's gimmick.
Oh well, he stole. Yeah, never mind. I don't think anybody had it for him.
There you go.
Overall, a typical FTR match. I know that sounds basic, but it was good. But FTR just has great matches, so I think Aussie Open was protected well, and I think they have a bright future in AEW. I think within the next year they're going to be tag champs, and I don't hate it. They have good tag matches, and they look formidable. So, to me, what more can you ask for?
Not the most charismatic team, though. I'll say that. They're good wrestlers.
Hey, Fletcher had a decent little promo on Collision that one time, or the face-off with FTR that I just mentioned.
He sounds too posh. You know what I'm saying? He sounds, I don't know. Doesn't have an intimidating voice. Sounds like he's in 10th grade.
I mean, sure, but who does have an intimidating voice? Legit in wrestling these days.
Damian Priest.
Well, that's different.
Roman Reigns.
All right.
A lot of guys at LA Knight. Come on now. These guys have man voices.
Well,
they don't sound like kids.
How old is Kyle Fletcher? He can't be like 26.
The other dude looks like he's 46, so I don't know. I don't know what they got going on there.
Nope. Wow, Kyle Fletcher is 24.
Okay.
Mark Davis.
How's the other one? Mark over there.
Me and my buddy Mark. Oh no, not Raiders owner Mark Davis.
Isn't he dead?
No, he's alive, but that haircut's dead.
Okay.
I dropped my phone and now my dog's going nuts. If you hear that in the background, he is 33.
Could have fooled me.
Well, he's just kind of, I don't know. That's in right now. The stashes with the like almost mullet. I mean, it don't work for me, brother, but you know.
Yeah, I don't know if it works for him either, for being honest. But
Well,
he got hurt during this match, didn't he?
Reportedly, him and Cash. I don't really know the news of the injury, but he said that
snapped his wrist.
Huh?
He like he snapped his wrist on that superplex spot.
Oh yeah, one of them did land on his arm, didn't he?
Yeah, it was nasty.
Oh yeah. Yeah, here we go. This is from Cultaholic. He said, sometimes you win them on Twitter. He said, sometimes you win them, sometimes you snap your wrist. Then Brian Alvarez on the Wrestling Observer said, I think he may have broken his wrist. Tony did not answer a question about any other injuries, but I did have someone else say that they thought that he had broken his wrist. It's not 100% confirmed, but they were like, yeah, I think that's what happened.
Didn't Brody from the House of Black, didn't he break his wrist at the last pay-per-view?
That's news to me, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Then you know he's wearing a cast. You don't remember?
I didn't see a cast on him.
Yeah, he hurt his hand or wrist.
Oh yeah, he punched. Yeah, he punched something because he was mad about the Punk thing.
All injury wrestling.
God, we've named like at least 10 or 15 guys in this one episode.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more out there, but
oh yeah, I don't doubt it at all.
We got Thunder Rosa still on the show.
Hey, apparently she's about to come back, but we got one guy who's definitely injured after this match next.
Adam Cole?
Oh yeah. My God, he didn't even do anything either.
He's brittle, man. He's very skinny.
He said he's little. Come on.
He's brittle. He's very skinny. Yeah.
Speaking of well, this just kind of hit my brain. Did you hear the rumor floating around that Riddle is going to face Logan Paul?
Oh, I did hear that. Was it Logan or Jake?
No, it was no. Yeah. The boxing one is Jake. Logan is the wrestler, but yeah, he was talking about facing Jake.
Well, Logan boxes too. He boxed Mayweather.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Jake is like the serious boxer, whereas Logan is the wrestler.
Oh, come on. Are they? Is either one of them serious?
Well, more serious, if that's the correct grammar.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I did see that. I'm intrigued. I would watch it. I mean, it's a big payday for Riddle. So
yeah. Pissed? They're gonna piss test him?
Oh, of course not, brother. We don't do that.
Not here. But anyways, main event of WrestleDream for the TNT Championship. Good old Christian Cage versus Darby Allin. We both got a lot here, but I'll let you start off with your scoops for this match.
Oh boy, this right here was a spectacle, Micah. Not a technical masterpiece, but a spectacle. And the ending was very surprising. I don't think anybody saw it coming, especially in the hometown of Nick Wayne. And especially because Nick Wayne had a match with Luchasaurus earlier on in the night, Micah. Did we all forget about that? So I suppose, did they plan on having were they faking the hard feelings in the match? What happened here, Micah? Walk me through this.
You know, I honestly, because I wrote that as a scoop, that I feel like the Nick Wayne turn makes more sense than most AEW turns.
Well,
I forgot that they had the match on 0 Hour. But
Booker of the Year.
To me, do you remember the whole AR Fox thing that we kind of like lost our minds about? That he was like, AR Fox just murdered Nick Wayne and he wasn't gonna, like, Darby was like, it's okay, I accept you again.
Yep.
So that to me was like, you know what? That kind of makes sense why Nick Wayne would feel slighted, because it's like, you freaking sided with this guy that, like, you know what I mean? If me, you, and some other dude were friends, and this dude just beat the dog piss out of you and left you in a puddle of your own blood. And I was like, and he apologized to me. I was like, oh, come on, Ryan. You should warm up to the guy again. You'd be a little hurt, wouldn't you?
But Christian's been trying to put the moves to his mom the last couple months. Wouldn't that? I don't know. It seems like the wrong guy to take sides with. Somebody that's trying to bang your mom, Mike. I mean,
Well, maybe
no, I don't know that.
maybe he realizes that Christian could put her in a better place. Bigger home.
Oh my God. All right.
He's a rich man.
Is he?
Christian Cage, as Nigel would say.
It was very shocking. I'll say that. Very shocking. But why build up Nick Wayne? Have all these video packages, making him the next up and coming young baby face on your roster, and then he turns heel within 2 months. That doesn't seem. Is that good booking to you, Micah? Is that Booker of the Year to you?
Well, I think I've got my Booker of the Year locked in at this point, but I don't think it's coming from this side of the fence. But I mean, I don't know. I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it.
But you want a good book to read? Join our Audible link, right, Micah?
That's right, Ryan. What an amazing lob you threw to me, and now I got to slam it down. I'm not sure if I'm ready to catch it. But yes, if you like to read books,
there you go.
Then you should check out our Audible link. We have it in the link of the bio. It'll also be in any of our links on our social media pages, which is at scoopslammedpod on Instagram and Twitter, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show. So it's the first link on our link tree. Go click it, get you a free month of Audible Premium Plus, and you can also get up to 2 free audiobooks through that link. So make sure to check that out. The link, if you're just listening, you want to type it into your phone real quick, is linktr.ee/scoopslampod. Once again, that is linktr.ee/scoopslampod. It'll be in the link of this episode, as well as all of our socials. It's the first link at the top. All you gotta do, put in your email, create an account, free month, Premium Plus 2 audiobooks. Go check that out and make yourself the Booker of the Year.
Like I did.
You know.
Oof.
But anyways, speaking of booking,
yeah, hit me with your scoops. I know you got a lot of them.
Yeah, I think I like this more than you looking at it, which I guess is probably just.
I did like it. I shared most of your sentiments though.
Okay. The first pin was nice by Darby, especially with the fact that it showed that Christian's shirt was caught. I liked that because it was real quick, but then I was like, okay, well, his shirt was caught. Kind of gives it away. I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching it, I kind of forgot that it was a 2 out of 3 falls, so I was like, huh?
I did too. Yeah, I did too.
Darby started with some nice technical wrestling, and then the dives are always just crazy to watch. They always catch me off guard. I'm never ready for them. As I mentioned earlier, the stairs spots. Oh my God.
Terrible. I wouldn't want to take that.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Christian couldn't get him up for the first spot. He couldn't lift him up to do the scoop slam off the apron onto the steps, and then he kind of landed on the floor. That was a nasty bump in itself. I would have been fine with that just being the bump. I didn't need to see the step spot, but I could hear Darby saying, "Do it again, do it again." Mics were turned up really loud. He was on his John Cena time during that match. And so Christian lifts him up and scoop slams him from the floor to the steps. But that wasn't good enough, Micah. Darby told him to do it one more time in the original spot. So Christian went back to the apron and dropped him on the steps, and I audibly I cringed, man. I yelled in my apartment because that was nasty. And it looked like he snapped his arm because it got caught behind him while he was taking the bump. It was, how do you take that safely? You can't.
Yeah. I don't think there is a way.
Oh, he has a death wish.
I applaud him for his willingness. It may be too much, personally, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't entertained.
Yeah, it's like me watching a Saw movie. It's entertaining, but I'm watching half the movie with, one eye open and covering my eyes. It was not a pretty sight, man.
Yeah, I can't. No, I didn't pick that up though with him asking him to do it again. So do you think Christian kind of like didn't want to go through with it?
Oh, you could tell he didn't want to go through with it. Because he was trying to move on, but Darby kept on saying, "Do it again, do it again." I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right, we'll do it again, man."
Yeah, I would have felt bad to be in Christian's spot because like I would have been the same way. Like, are you sure? I will say the same thing for later in the match when they just kept bumping on the plain 2x4s instead of the mat. Ugh. Darby took a bump and it zoomed in on him and his elbow busted wide open just from landing on it. And I was like, God, you forget like really what's under that mat.
They scooped Darby up after the steel step spot, and then Christian started taking apart the ring. Did that not make any sense to you, Micah? Is what I was trying to say. Because Darby was getting wheeled away in the stretcher. Why did Christian start stripping apart the ring? Wasn't the match about to be over?
I'm assuming that he wanted to. The way that I looked at it was like, at this point, he wanted the match to fully be over, and he wasn't exactly trying to win. He was just trying to beat the crap out of him.
All right. It didn't make much sense to me. He could have just won the match with like a count out right there.
I mean, I see your point. The frog splash off the top onto the stretcher was also a crazy freaking spot that was also really entertaining.
Yeah, and it's hard to brace yourself getting the frog splash because I think they had his arms like strapped down too. So it's not a lot of, you can't really brace yourself for that. And he had to take it like full force. I definitely knocked the wind out of him.
And the other thing, Christian is just so good right now. This is an all-time run from Christian. Like, dead honest. And we're about to get to him. But for really the length of this podcast existing and mine and your friendship, you've always been a Christian guy. And I've always liked Edge a lot. But, I think I'm on the bandwagon with you. If Christian had gotten the ball...
Really? Okay.
I think Christian could have been better than Edge. He's a better storyteller to me.
You're a peep now, Mike. Is that what you are?
I might be. This might be the peep show.
All right. Okay. So you getting your turtleneck ready? Huh?
Yeah, might have to show up to Royal Rumble in our double turtlenecks.
We're gonna have the Dwayne Johnson fit on with the turtleneck and the gold chain.
We gotta cut the sleeves off.
Yeah, man, Christian, he's been doing some top tier work, and I'm happy to see him prospering in this role. But I do believe now it might be over for old Christian as a credible threat now that his buddies with him.
Well,
I think they're gonna. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll get to that.
Well, no. I was about to say, well, let's open the floor because I know you've certainly got some feelings, and that was the biggest talking point coming out of this pay-per-view. Was after the match, Nick Wayne had turned on Darby. They were going to beat him up more. Sting comes out, gets pummeled.
Wait, hold up. No, Sting comes out walking. He's in no hurry.
Well, come on now. What'd you expect him to do?
Okay, you give me a little jog, Sting.
He's 65.
I don't care, man. He came to the ring in no hurry at all. And then yeah, they kind of got a little offense in, but eventually the odds were stacked against them and they started beating up Grandpa. And then the lights go out, Micah. And you know what that means in AEW.
I didn't
Lights
like
out.
that part.
Wait, when they beat up Grandpa?
No, I didn't like when they cut the lights out because that's not Edge's gimmick.
Yeah, but you know that's what they do, Micah. When it's a big debut or return, you cut the lights out. And of course, when you cut the lights out, Micah, it makes the heels forget what they're doing in the ring, and they have to go watch the video while
Oh
the lights
yeah.
are turned out. Yeah, they got to watch the package, Micah. You know, when you're about to murder somebody live on television, well, you got to stop real quick and see what's going on the Titantron. So a video plays of what was it? A car driving past the street that said rated R or something to that effect. I can't remember it exactly. Do you remember what happened in the
I
package?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what the name of the street was.
Okay, well, regardless, the car drove past some street signs and drove on the highway, and then the car stopped in the building, or what happened towards the end of the video? I forget, Mike.
Well, you know, it's been a long
It's been a
week.
while. It's been a while. I don't know. Regardless, you hear, you think you know him, and then the music hits, and you are a big fan of that song, which I don't see the hype of.
Oh,
But he
come
came out to
on.
his, just saying, brother. It's no Christian song. It's no, Christian got that, always had better songs than Edge, regardless. But he comes out to his old WWE theme. And yeah, place comes unglued. They have a huge, massive pop. A pop so big that fans on the AEW Twitterverse, Micah, were saying that it was louder than the CM Punk first dance pop or last dance. Was it last? What was it called? I forget. Whatever. When he
First,
came back, in Chicago, they said it was louder.
yeah,
Edge got the
that's
louder pop.
insane.
That's what they said, Micah. I don't know. I just report the facts. I just tell the truth in a world full of lies. But he came out to the music and everybody went wild. He marched to the ring to go save Darby, and the heels got beat up by Edge after he contemplated turning on Darby and taking Christian's side, and he beat up Luchasaurus and beat up the young boy, and then Christian got out the ring and ran away. But yeah, rated R superstar Adam Copeland is now all elite, Micah. Something that you predicted on this podcast.
Well, you know, I'm somewhat of a fortune teller, believe it or not.
Okay. All right. What do you think about rated R superstar Adam Copeland?
I
Go ahead.
think that
Go ahead.
I think that some
Hmm.
people are overestimating it, but I do
Hmm.
think it's a big pickup for them, and it's very unexpected. And he does add some star power and some juice into AEW. However,
Certainly. Okay. Go ahead.
I don't think that he is the level that Punk was at,
Yeah.
and I don't think that he is gonna like. I think the bloom is gonna come off the rose because Edge has not really looked great. He's not bad in the ring. That's not what I mean. But none of his matches are just great. So in that aspect, I don't think like AEW is going to be just an amazing fit for him. At the same time, I get it. Edge's best gimmick was always the rated R superstar. WWE was never going to let him be that. So I understand why he left. It's still very shocking, but I don't know the cap that I see on Edge's AEW career. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know where the peak is. I don't feel like the peak is higher than Punk.
I don't see him as big of a draw as CM Punk. He will not bring in more viewers to AEW, which evidence was right there in front of us this week, Micah. He was on Dynamite, they did its lowest number in a couple months. They did barely over 800,000.
Well, there was some other
Oh, here
outliers in
you go.
that.
Here you go. Come on now. If people wanted to see it, they would watch it. Yes or no?
Yes, but there was some people that are having issues with Xfinity and DVR numbers and all that jazz.
Still though, that's maybe a couple people, but not enough for it to do its lowest number. And then we saw on Collision, Edge got added onto the card. It was advertised a few days in advance, and the ticket sales did not spike at all. They stayed. They actually plateaued. They really didn't sell that many more. They barely. I don't even think they had 2,500 people in the building on Saturday. But you could tell. You could tell it was dark. It was like a NXT taping in that arena. But I don't see him. I never thought Edge was that guy. I always thought he was the guy that worked with the guy. He did well when he worked with Cena and worked with Undertaker and worked with Batista. But that has mostly to do with the other guys involved. Edge has never been that guy as a babyface, and he's never been that guy without Lita and without Vicky. I think Edge can only play the slime ball character, and he does that pretty decently. But people got to stop romanticizing Edge's career. I mean, he was never John Cena. He was never Dave Batista. He was never CM Punk. He was just another guy. He was another guy that had a few world title reigns and had a Money in the Bank win and Royal Rumble. He was tall and blonde, Micah. And if Christian was tall and had the long blonde hair, he would have got the same push Edge got. Let's be real.
I agree. I had this discussion with my brother.
Oh, you're gonna push back there, Mike?
No, I mean I think he will move some number, but to me, Edge was never
Number negatively, yeah.
Edge was never one A or 1B, and Punk was for a while. And some people say that he's a bigger star because obviously he was during the Attitude Era, and in like 2006, 2007, they were doing, you know,
They were doing higher numbers than they did in 2011 in comparison, yeah.
yeah. But I think more like, I don't know, Punk was legit like the company's, I don't know, he was on the trucks, he was on the promo packages, he was like in the front of them too. Like Cena was there too, don't get me wrong, but like Punk was the bell cow for a while, for a brief run there. And I don't know that Edge ever was that. And my brother was like, well, yeah, he kind of was on the SmackDown of like 2008 with like Big Show and all that. But did that SmackDown ever feel like it was right there with Raw? You know what I mean? Raw felt like the A show.
It definitely was the B show at that point. And even when you look back at that era, it had mostly to do with the pairing with Vicky Guerrero. I mean, come on now. Are we misremembering this? Why do people romanticize Edge's career?
I think people like to think that he was a bigger star than he was. And again, I like Edge. Always have. But and this is a big signing. I don't mean to undermine it. But I don't think that Edge is, I don't think this is a like, oh my god move like it was when Punk was there and Danielson was there. And I mean, who else did they get? Moxley, Jericho. Like those were like, dang, those are some pretty big signings. Edge.
You comparing it to the Paul White signing, huh, Micah?
No, I mean a little bit more than that. Maybe around like the Sting signing. Like,
okay,
it was a big deal, but
it's not gonna add more viewers.
Yeah, is Edge gonna be a world champion? I don't see that.
I can see that, but I don't think it's gonna do anything for the viewership or the live attendance.
I think it may do a little bit for the viewership for a couple months.
Whose favorite wrestler is Edge? Micah, have you ever met somebody that said their favorite wrestler is Edge? No, you haven't. I'll answer it for you. You hear, oh, favorite wrestler was Rey Mysterio, or oh, my favorite wrestler was John Cena. Oh, I love Randy Orton, which is I'm skeptical of that too, but
CM
still
Punk.
though, man, CM Punk, yeah. Nobody has their number one as Adam Copeland. It's not out there. You find them and show them to me, but I've yet to find one.
Well, to close this out, and we'll get the WrestleDream or actual like numbers in just a second, but in the link of this podcast, I'm gonna put a poll out. I would like for everybody who listens to it to fill it out. Who do you think is a bigger star? Do you think that Edge is a bigger star? Or do you think that CM Punk is a bigger star? Or should I reword that into who do you think is going to move more numbers?
You should reword it as Adam Copeland.
Oh,
we can't be Edge. You can't be Edge anymore, son.
They call it the Copacution now.
Oh my god! Who said that?
I think it was Kevin Kelly. No, we missed him with that one. Just rename the whole thing.
We got another Adam on the roster too.
Lee. Yeah, they got a million. I saw something the other day. It was like we have 3 Adams, 2 Pages, 3 Cages, 2 Isaiahs, or no, 2 Cassidys, like 4 Tony. Like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But overall, what is your number review of WrestleDream? 1 to 10.
Oh, this is. I go 5.1. It was kind of middle of the road. It felt like I know we said this for the last pay-per-view that AEW had, but it felt like Dynamite just with longer matches.
Yeah. I gotta say 6.4. I don't know, man. When half the pay-per-view I pretty much skipped because I knew I wasn't gonna like it. Like, and I know what people will say. They'll be like, oh, well, you skipped it, so how do you know if you liked it or not? Let me do a quick rundown. MJF Righteous, my life has not changed whether I watched it or not. I did, but I'm just saying. Eddie Shibata, I walked away from it the same.
Yeah.
Bucks versus the Guns. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm going to say, I've never had a root canal, but I know I wouldn't like that either.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to be a 5-star chef to know something's going to taste bad. Bucks versus Guns versus Hook, OC, Lucha Brothers. I'm not going to like that. Starks and Hobbs, I watched. It was okay. Coda, Jericho, Omega, I didn't like that. I actually did watch it. So right there, that's 4 matches that I didn't really care for. Throw in the Statlander match too. That's half a pay-per-view. Other stuff was good. I did like the other stuff a lot, so 6.5. Maybe I could be talked to a 7, but these people saying that it was an 8, a 9, one of their best pay-per-views of the year, I cannot agree with that. I might be willing to go up to 7 just because of the Edge debut and the main event was actually good.
The Adam Copeland debut. Oh. Hey, Micah, I'll tell you this, man. Tony Khan, he said that a new era of AEW is going to be born at WrestleDream. So the new era is 48-year-old Adam Copeland debuting.
I guess. Well, they called Phil old and said that he couldn't wrestle anymore. So what are they going to say about Edge?
They called him CM Junk, which is still a pretty funny nickname.
Yeah, we'll see how much he can't wrestle when he's back on our TVs in a month. I'm holding out hope.
When he's main eventing night 1 of WrestleMania. You jabronis.
Oh,
marks.
You know how funny that would be? Like, the absolute just hilarity of the fact that Punk gets fired from AEW, goes on to main event WrestleMania.
maybe when he stormed Monday Night Raw when he was on hiatus from AEW, maybe Triple H called him into office and they planned this all out. You think?
I don't know, but I definitely think that Raw trip had some weight to it.
Oh man, we need a documentary on this.
I would love a documentary on this, a Dark Side of the Ring or something.
We need like a 30 for 30 version of what happened.
Oh man,
the CM Punk 2-year endeavor with AEW. We need a 30 for 30.
Oh, Endeavor's not involved till now.
Oh, okay.
Well, regardless, thank you for tuning in. Again, I apologize for all the scheduling errors. Hopefully, just bear with us these next couple weeks, and things will get back on track soon. I appreciate all the support we've gotten past couple weeks. You guys have really been tuning in to our episodes and like genuinely listening to them, so I appreciate that a lot, and I don't want your guys' support to be lost on us, so I do appreciate that. We will be back in a couple days with Fastlane. After that, it gets a little unclear on what the schedule will be like, but I will keep everybody updated, so make sure to follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, all social medias at scoopslammedpod. Once again, go ahead. Link is in the bio. You can follow us or go to our social media through the link in the bio as well. Get you a free month of Audible Premium Plus. It's the first link at the top. Get 2 free audiobooks. It's a great deal. Go check that out. Make sure you tune in to that. And make sure you tune in a couple days for our Fastlane episode. Make sure you tune in for the rest of our reviews. And in the meantime, make sure to stay safe and have a good one.